So my biggest takeaway was that Tennessee's back, baby. Tennessee is back, Jeff. Look, I was a little bit too early on my take on it. They're back. You're
an absolute jackass. You know that? You are a jackass.
In all seriousness, though, I thought
they got dominated by 30 minutes by Kentucky.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Then Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer woke up. Like, there's been two things that we've been waiting for out of Tennessee all season long. All season long. It's Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer to play like the 5-star studs that they are, right? And they did. They completely took that game over down the stretch over the final 8 minutes. And the other part of it is for Rick Barnes. Go ahead.
Against Kentucky, they're 5-13. They stink.
But you have to start somewhere.
Oh my God!
Right? You have to start somewhere. Like it's a confidence thing for them. It's a belief that they are good enough to go out and do this. And the other part of it is that they need to fully buy into this idea that like they have to play Yves Pons at the 5. They have to play Josiah Jordan-James at the 4. They have to play Keon and Jaden together as wings, and then they have to put a point guard out there, whether it's Victor Bailey or Santiago Vescovi, like whatever it is, like you have to go full small. I don't think that you can play with John Fulkerson and EJ Anasicki out there because you already have issues with shooting, and they just clog up the lane even more. If you put 5 wings around the perimeter, at least there's going to be some driving lanes, and you're not going to have a post just kind of there taking up space, especially if Fulkerson is not.
I only have one question for you. I only have one question for you in Tennessee. Does Rick Barnes have pictures of you?
Yes, he does.
I mean, he must.
Compromising pictures.
Like he must have a shit ton on you right now.
Oh, he does. Like it's bad. It's bad. It's embarrassing. I gotta keep hyping him up. He's got even more on me than Brian Hodgson and Nate Oates do at Alabama.
Seriously, this is tough. I mean, this is really you just flip back based on 10 minutes against a 5-13 Kentucky squad.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, you can never let the takes die. You can never let if you're all late on 10, like I gotta write this thing out, man. I don't really have a choice. I need.
You're gonna ride out Pittsburgh too?
No, like
you're done. You're done.
I'm not worried. I didn't go all in on Pittsburgh. Like I said, Tennessee. After they beat Duke, I had one tweet where I was like, I don't think anyone is good in the ACC. And I said, I'm not totally convinced that Pitt isn't the best team in the ACC. That's what I said. I said, I'm not totally convinced that Pitt isn't. That was like, there's no conviction in that statement. And of course, Brian Snow sees it and says, like, I picked Pitt to win the national championship. He's the worst. He's like, he grabs onto one little thing and he's never going to let it go. I'm going to have to hear
all you have to do.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to be 50 years old. The field of 68 is going to take over ESPN. I'm still going to get texts from Brian Snow on that fucking group chat where it's like, hey, you think Pitt's going to win the national title this year? That's what's going to happen.
Sorry, just say whenever Snow says anything to you, all you have to do is respond with 4 letters. Scal.
Yeah, I do this.
Scal. Period.
I do that, man. It's great.
Then it's over. Whatever the argument is, it ends with Scal.
All right. What else did you have from yesterday?
I mean, you got to talk to Carolina. I mean, you got to. It's still, and I got some pushback when I said it was the best win of the day. But like with that rivalry, with the fact that Carolina beat Duke at Cameron and ultimately might have pushed them out of the tournament. Like that's the thing. If Carolina can sweep Duke, they could take credit for basically saying, you know what, we knocked Duke out of the NCAA tournament. Like, what's better than that? That's better than anything else you could do all season long. No?
It's great for the rivalry. I don't think that it is like the best win kind of a thing. Like I would put it. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Like I wasn't expecting that, but it ended up being like crazy competitive and the how do I phrase this politely? It wasn't played in a very well executed manner, but it was played in fun. It was fun to watch. It was entertaining. It was back and forth. There was scoring. Caleb Love woke up, and I'll tell you this, Jeff. If Caleb Love, I'm not expecting him to go for like 25 and 7 every night, right? But if he can play somewhere close to that level, like that kind of changes what North Carolina can be. And all of a sudden, like especially if Kerwin Walton is knocking down jumpers, like all of a sudden they become a really interesting team. Like if you got Caleb Love as the guy that can get you 16-6, right? You have a front court rotation that includes Day'Ron Sharpe, Armando Bacot, and Garrison Brooks. Kerwin Walton is making shots, and Leaky Black is just doing like Leaky Black things. Like just if he's just being a good defender, an athlete on the wing, and a guy that can be a secondary playmaker in the half court, he doesn't even have to make shots. Like if you got that,
they're top.
All of a sudden, like they're a team that like can make some noise. I'm not saying like a Final Four or anything like that.
No, but they may be the third best team in the ACC or something like that. Like anybody can win the ACC tournament. Like that's the one thing this year. Anybody can win the ACC tournament. Like, obviously, you're going to take Virginia and Florida State probably if you're betting on it. But ultimately, you wouldn't be surprised if Carolina wins it. Pitt, your Pitt team, could they win it?
Why not?
Why not? Why not?
Whichever Champagne is on that roster, he's a stud. He's a top 5 player in the ACC right now. So they can go. But whatever his name is and whichever one it is, like there's no way I'm ever going to remember. Champagne. Which one is he?
Brothers McMullen. Remember the movie The Brothers?
Oh, I know. There's 2 of them, but I just which one plays for Pitt and which one plays for St. John's?
Julian plays for St. John's.
Are you 100% positive?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's actually
I'm never going to be 100% positive on that one, so I'm just going to go with the Champagne kid on that team.
I think Fana and Demetrius might have them as guests this week. Potentially.
Oh, that's a nice little tease right there. I see what you did, Jeffrey.
Would be huge. I mean, seriously, that might be the best pot of the week. And Hummel and I already have Chris Holtman on for tomorrow, so that's
well. The problem is Robbie Hummel's going to be on that podcast, so it's
good point.
Kind of limited in what it can be. All right, there's 3 other games, actually 4 other games that I want to touch on.
Can I give you a tease, though, on the Holtman podcast?
Yeah, give me a tease.
We might have a sensational Chris Holtman story if he tells it tomorrow. Sensational.
I know the story that you're talking about. Is it the one?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. The one when he interviewed?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, please.
I told you this.
Please. Oh, I know it. Yeah. I told you this.
No. I got it like.
You sure?
Yeah, from the horse.
Okay, whatever. Just get him to tell the story.
I'm going to try. I'm working on it. All
right, so 3.
If he has a few beers during the Super Bowl, we'll be fine.
Yeah, there's 4 games that we need to talk about beyond this. First one is, I guess we could talk about them both at the same time. Are you worried about Alabama or Texas more?
I'm worried about Alabama. I am. Like I still don't trust their bad habits. That's my problem with Alabama. Is there's still too many years of bad defensive habits. And other than Herb Jones, I don't trust any of those guys to lock down. And they don't. Like Petty, like I like John Petty, but I'm not convinced John Petty, like every time out, is going to give you an A-level effort on the defensive end. He's going to make – I think his offense dictates his defense. And, I just – without Bruner – like I think when they get Bruner back, I'll feel so much better about them. Like, to me, they've kind of played with a little bit of fire, gotten away with some things over the last couple of weeks, and won games for the most part, other than the Big 12 SEC Challenge game. And it caught up with them. It caught up with them yesterday. Like, they weren't playing great basketball.
It was also like another one of those weird start times, 11 a.m. local time, traveling. Like, so I can kind of understand it to a point. And slow starts in an era where you're not playing in packed gyms, when you're playing an early tip, when you kind of have the SEC already wrapped up, right. Like I don't, they're going to have to lose like 3 more games at least, maybe 4 more games to not win the SEC regular season title. And like if you're Alabama, like how hard are you playing at this point? Like, so I kind of get it.
You're playing for a number 1 seed, so you should be playing.
Yeah, you should. But I mean, when you're playing for seeding, that only takes like when you're playing for a championship, that's a certain level of motivation for the players, right? Like if you're only playing for seeding, like that only gets you so fired up. So like I kind of get it a little bit, especially like in an era where everybody's kind of doing some isolation and you're not really getting to experience life the way that you want to experience. Like it's tough, it's hard. So I kind of get it. They're still just as dangerous as they've always been, but like they got to get that figured out. Hopefully they didn't peak at the wrong time. Texas, I am not that concerned about. They've won their last 5. But yesterday, like they shot 5 for 35 from 3. They were 20 for 79 from the floor. They shot 25%. They went 0 for 12 from the field in overtime. And the shots that they were getting were not bad shots. They were getting good looks. Andrew Jones, Courtney Ramey, and Matt Coleman combined to go 3 for 26 from 3. And I would say that at least half of those were good looks, very makeable looks. If they shoot half of their normal percentage, right, they win that game in regulation and they covered the spread.
I mean, Cade tried to hand it to him a little bit there. I mean, he couldn't make a shot.
Awful. Cade Cunningham was legitimately terrible in that game.
Yeah, he wasn't good. I mean, listen, you make a great defensive play, then you miss the layup, like a horrible pass.
And that's also that's not a shot on him. Like everybody in the planet is allowed to have bad nights and bad games.